So this is going to be the solution video for the Personality Insights lab. So to start off, we're going to go to our dashboard and we're going to go to Catalog at the top right. On the left side, find the Watson category and then Personality Insights. Verify your organization and space are correct, then click Create. And after a minute, the service will be created for you. Now we need to get the credentials, so go to the left side, Service Credentials, click on that. And then if you don't have any credentials in the Service Credentials table, click on New Credential and click Add. And that will add some credentials for you in that Service Credentials table. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on View Credentials and then copy the username and password that show up and keep that in a separate Word document. I'm not going to show you my credentials, but I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll pause the video and get back to you when I'm done. Alright, and now that we're done with that, we're going to go back to our code editor, open up our code, and then we're going to find our service credentialed file. And there are just a few lines that we have to paste in there. I'm going to show you how to do that in the example.json file, just because I don't want to show you my credentials. So we're going to copy the lines from the lab doc. We're going to add that last comma there after the curly brace for discovery. Going to enter, and then we're going to paste in the lines of code. So your service-credentials.json file should look similar to this, except you should have the credentials filled in for the other services, and you should have a tone analyzer in here as well. And that's how it should look. There's a picture in the lab doc of how it should look once you're done adding the credentials. But I'm going to go ahead and add the credentials to my real service-credentials.json file, and I'll pause the video and get back to you when I'm done. Alright, once you're done adding the credentials, go ahead and save the service-credentials.json file. And then we're going to go back to the app.js file. And so, starting from the top, we're going to scroll down to where our conversation discovery and tone analyzer objects are defined. So if you remember, we have the var conversation, var discovery, var tone analyzer. So just under tone analyzer, we're going to paste in some lines from the Word doc, and this is going to create the personality insights object, which we will use to actually query the Personality Insights service. And so now we're going to scroll down to about where our io.emit functions were that we added last time. So it's going to be somewhere around 250 to 260, depending on how you structured your lines, and if you added any extra spaces. So you should see the three io.emit statements further down. This is where we called the tone analyzer object last time. So just under that, we're going to make some room, and then we're going to paste in the code from the Word doc. So copy that in, and then paste. Alright, so this code is going to call the Personality Insights service for us, and then now we just need to add the code to the callback. So we have to create another function definition to actually handle the parsing of this personality object. So we're going to go to the very bottom, and there is a function definition in the lab doc that we need to copy. And so this function definition is going to be used to parse through the response of the Personality Insights call, and it's going to return to us the relevant personality traits and the consumption preferences. So at the very bottom of the document, go ahead and enter and paste it in. So that should be the very last thing at the very bottom of the document, this get personality traits function declaration. Alright, I'm going to go up to where we called Personality Insights. So that should be around line 250 again, 260, somewhere around there. you should see the personality insights profile call. And then so you should also have this if err, this if else, this if error, and then the else statement. So we're going to go to the else statement, and then we're going to copy the code block from the lab doc. And what this is going to do is this is going to call that function we just defined, and it's going to do a few things for us. It's going to actually go through the array returned from that function declaration, pull out the personality traits and consumption preferences, and then we're going to emit that back to the chat. Yeah, so that was all. So now we're going to make sure you save the document, and then you're going to go back to your command prompt, and you're going to do bx cf push. All right, once the application is done pushing, we're going to go to our browser, open up a new tab, and then we're going to actually test it out. So let me just clear the window. And then, so let's go ahead and do a few of the questions from the lab doc. So again, it's going to take a minute because it's going through discovery, getting all the review text, and passing it to Tone Analyzer and Personality Insights. And as you can see, we got a lot more results back than from the last lab. So we have the personality traits included, including openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and emotional range. And it gives you the detected score, 0 being the least and 1 being the most apparent. And then it also shows the specific trait that's identified. So for openness, we have intellect. For conscientiousness, we have cautiousness. For extroversion, we have high activity levels. And for agreeableness, we have trust. And for emotional range, we have immoderation. Lastly, we have the identified consumption preference, and this is basically just the consumption preference of the hotel guests. And so basically, this could be used by like an ad agency or marketing agency to better target their ad to the hotel guests. So in this case, the consumption preference identified is likely to be influenced by family when making product purchases. So let's go ahead and try some more hotels. So as you can see, we get another group of the personality traits, and then the consumption preference for these hotel guests are likely to prefer using credit cards for shopping. So we can target ads better to those guests. And then lastly, let's go ahead and try one more hotel. Yeah, and so we get a different group of personality traits, and then at the same time, let's say these hotel guests also have these hotel guests are also likely to make credit cards for or use credit cards for shopping. Yeah, you can go ahead and try a few more questions, see what other hotels, what their hotel guests prefer, and just play around with it. But that's the end of the lab. Hope you enjoyed it.